Hey, this is Pastor Bunjee Garrett, and I want to take some time today to present you with another word of encouragement. Well, here we go. The drone wars are now upon us, and just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you might like to know that mysterious drone sightings have been happening all across our country, and while the White House National Security Communications Advisor, John Kirby, he's assured us that there's nothing to be concerned about because these are likely just regular manned airplanes. His dismissive remarks have only fueled the fires of many conspiracy theories. And in order to grasp this strange situation that's unfolding before our eyes, I want to consider a summary of the facts that Jason Sullivan presents in the article that he titled Invasion of the Drones. According to him, fact number one, there's been an unprecedented volume of sightings of these drones. As a matter of fact, residents report seeing clusters of 50 or more drones emerging from the Atlantic Ocean, moving inland. Law enforcement has confirmed over 50 drones in a single wave, while a dozen or more drones were seen following a U.S. Coast Guard vessel. Fact number two, he points out that there are drones flying over residential areas. As a matter of fact, the drones are flying low over suburban neighborhoods with their bright navigational lights clearly visible. Witnesses describe them as large, vehicle-sized, moving silently through the night. Their presence feels intentional, as if designed to provoke public attention and fuel speculation. And then fact number three, these drones are flying in proximity to sensitive locations. As a matter of fact, these drones have flown near or directly over critical infrastructure, including water reservoirs, power grids, and military facilities like the Picatinny Arsenal and Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst, two of the most strategic installations on the East Coast. Now, you might be interested to know that the Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst is actually home to a critical Naval Air Warfare Center aircraft division. And according to Sullivan, this facility plays a specialized role in researching, testing, and supporting aircraft systems, particularly aircraft launch and recovery equipment, as well as naval aviation support equipment, which are essential for Navy combat operations. Now, with all that being the case, I can't help but to wonder why the Navy is allowing these mysterious drones to fly over this naval facility that plays a specialized role in researching, testing, and supporting aircraft systems. Is it possible that these drones are just U.S. military assets which have been deployed in a classified government operation for real-world exercises, or maybe possibly a psychological operation known as a PSYOP, which is designed to create confusion or provoke public fear? Now, there are those who insist that these aren't American drones, these are Iranian drones. And if that's the case, well, I can't help but to wonder, why is our military failing to shoot them down from the sky? Then there are those who believe that these are U.S. military drones sent out to search for a nuclear bomb. According to several sources, these drones are allegedly equipped with radiation detection systems, potentially searching for a nuclear weapon or a dirty bomb that has been secretly smuggled into our country. For example, John Ferguson, who is the CEO of Saxon Aerospace, he posted a TikTok video in which he claims knowledge of a Soviet-era nuclear warhead smuggled out of Ukraine and possibly now in the USA. Here's how he put it, and I quote, "I spoke to a gentleman a few months ago who was trying to raise the alarm to the highest levels of our government about this one particular nuclear warhead headed towards the United States." Now listen, if this is the case, then it's possible that these radiation detection drones are operating in this grid formation in an attempt to locate the nuclear weapon which has supposedly been smuggled into our country. And if that's the case, well, then it's possible that the government is simply keeping a lid on this operation in an attempt to quell widespread panic, as well as, to stop global tensions from occurring. And according to eyewitness reports, the majority of these drones are coming from the Atlantic Ocean. And since these drones have, a finite battery life, well, we can say for sure that they aren't being launched from Iran or from Russia. The chances are they're being launched from a vessel stationed there in the Atlantic Ocean. And seeing how our military is allowing these drones to fly over these sensitive locations, well, it only stands to reason then that they must be coming from some sort of U.S. Navy ship or possibly a top secret underwater drone carrier, which is currently being tested according to some. Now, there certainly seems to be some evidence that the U.S. military has already run similar scenarios. As a matter of fact, it was just earlier this year when the Navy ran a series of tests using advanced unmanned systems as part of a classified military program. And according to the reports, these exercises included the simulation of real-world scenarios near critical infrastructure. And not only that, but they also tested advanced UAV technologies in contested environments. According to Sullivan, this current drone invasion aligns closely to that recent Navy program, which was designed to test UAVs in real-world conditions. And with that being the case, I can't help but to wonder, is our military actually preparing to send a drone carrier to help with some sort of foreign war that we might be currently involved in? Are these drones a psyop being carried out against the American public? Are these drones searching for a dirty bomb or a nuclear weapon that's possibly been smuggled into our country, across Biden's open borders? Is our military running test drills in preparation for a drone invasion of another country like Russia or China? I don't know. I personally don't know. And yet the FBI has assured us that there's nothing to worry about, that there's no threat to the public at this point in time. As a matter of fact, it was last Thursday when the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security, they published a joint statement by declaring, "We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat or have a foreign nexus." That's right, the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security. They aren't too concerned about these massive drone clusters that are running grid pattern operations directly over critical infrastructure, including water reservoirs and power grids and military facilities. They're not worried about it. And in contrast to this, the president of the Warren County Police Chiefs Association, Chief Scott D. Robb, he recently declared this. He says, "We are shocked by the lack of response or update from federal and state officials." Chief Robb went on to warn us about this situation by declaring, "We do not agree with their response that there is no known threat to the public at this time. It is our stance that just the unidentified drone flying over us is a threat in itself." Chief Robb also added this, and I quote, "We assure you that the police community is just as frustrated with the lack of transparency from the federal and state officials." As we consider the concerns of this local law enforcement agent, I can't help but to wonder, what is going on and what is all this about? And as I consider the way that people are freaking out and reacting to this drone invasion, well, I can't help but to remember something that Jesus said as he described the events that lead up to his second coming. We actually find this in Luke chapter 21. There the Lord Jesus declares, "There will be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and on the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them from fear, and the expectation of those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory." That's right, in the last days, these days will culminate in the second coming of Jesus Christ. But before that takes place, men's hearts will fail them with fear because of the things that they see coming upon the earth. And with that, I can't help but to wonder, does this include the fear of military drones or possible UFOs? And is this going to fill men's hearts with fears to the degree that they're having heart attacks and these sorts of things? And I guess time will tell. But I love the way that the Lord Jesus wrapped up this statement. He wraps up this warning with words of encouragement by declaring this, and I quote, "Now when these things begin to happen, look up and lift up your heads because your redemption draws near." Listen, rather than allowing all the conspiracy theories about these drones to fill our hearts with fear, we should simply see this as yet another sign of the times that the redemption of every born-again believer is drawing near. And with this as the focus, I believe that those who look to the Lord Jesus Christ will be empowered so that we can fight the good fight of faith, and all for the glory of God.